G'day guys, it's Rick Nuske here. Have you been to a super fast live event held by James Schramko? If not, I think you'll enjoy this. And if you are wondering whether or not you should book yourself a spot for maybe next year, hopefully this will give you some insight. I'm a regular attendee at various events, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of attending them. But this one was, in short, just brilliant. That's basically a wrap up of it just there. No, I'm going to give you a bit more than that. But, I learned a lot. I think you can fall into the trap of thinking that you know everything you need to know and you're going to get by and you can do what you've got by reading a couple of books. But nothing beats rubbing shoulders, having conversations, having a dinner, having a beer, just hanging out with people in your industry who have great ideas. There was some diverse industries there. One of them was DNA testing. Now, I don't know anything about that, but I can certainly tell you that it was an interesting concept, and there's some brilliant things coming out of those types of businesses. We had consultants, we had online marketers, we had WordPress businesses, there were subscription businesses, there were coaching programs, you name it, it was there. And one of the big things that we learned, and I'll go through with you the agenda, the itinerary for the 2 days. It was a 2-day event, and I'm just going to use these as a prompt so I don't get lost and so I can add the maximum amount of value to you in this post. But what I can tell you is that there will be a significant write-up in a post at myfuturebusiness.com. So if you want some more information, you want to see some photos that were taken during the event, I'm going to wrap it all up in there and, give you some details about what you can expect to see. Now, I like to think of this as somebody who, obviously after the 12th time this year, who knows what he's doing. And, James, the organizer of the event, he was just so calm and collected on the surface, and you wouldn't have known, it was just like a breeze. It seemed to me that it was a breeze for him. And I was very impressed by the way he conducted himself. And at one stage in between breaks, he was polite enough to just give me a moment of his time and take a photo with me. And we all know that if you're running an event like that with 200 plus people there, you are busy, super busy. But thank you, James, for that. Over the 2 days, just let me look at this so I don't miss anything. We had everything from how to avoid mistakes from an administrative perspective, how to run your business, the less sexy parts of your business, how to, at the end of the program, we talked about how to exit your business and how to do that, how to, sell assets. What is an asset in an online business? Just these little things that, you might have been wondering about. They were all there and they'll be in the post. But we had Content is King by Andrew Locke. Now, if you want a funny guy, go to helpmybusiness.com and have a listen, subscribe to his channel. You will be very impressed with Andrew Locke and his depth of knowledge. His entertainment factor is off the charts. I was almost in tears just enjoying his presentations over the 2-day. Andrew, if you're listening to this at all, I hope your allergy gets better. I hope you don't suffer those coughing fits as badly. I was feeling for you up there. We went on to Lana Weschler. She was fantastic. She's very much the data person, and she's one of my own because I love data. I love the knowledge. I love the software. And she talked about Facebook marketing and Google AdWords. They were the 2 presentations that she gave, and they were fantastic. There's just way too much content to go into here to give you much more than that. Then we hit the highlight for me. It was Ryan Levesque, and he was talking about the Ask Method formula. Now, he gave a 2-part presentation, one on day 1 and one on day 2, and I suspect he could have certainly filled our buckets, as everybody who was there would understand what I'm referring to there. He could fill our buckets quite easily, and he knows which buckets we should fit in. If you want to know more about that, go to the Ask Method or askmethod.com and have a look at his program. I'm sure it's going to be enlightening. Now, this is about, using a survey formula to really deep dive into the types of questions and pain points that your prospects or existing customers, in fact, are having, rather than you taking a wild ass guess and hoping that you're writing and promoting offers that are off the mark. You can be on point every time using this Ask Method formula. There will be a few links to his books inside this post as well. Then after that, we had Jared Robinson, and he was fantastic. I got very excited when he started talking about apps and, his failures with, PE Geek, which was one of his. And then he went on to make, contrary to my initial belief before the seminar, the conference event, call it what you like, I had this impression that apps had to be super complicated. They had to have multi-function. In actual fact, if you look at any of Jared's apps, some of them are so basic as to show you just one fitness move or one stance that you do in each app. That was about it. And he told us a story about his early failings, and I think any successful entrepreneur has a number of failing stories that they can share, and his was great. I think it wasn't Angry Birds, but it was something like that. That was a bit of a flop for him. So thank you very much for sharing that with us, Jared. Ben Katzman, how to scale an e-commerce business. He was great. He had a necklace business which he was making out of, I think it was buffalo bone, repurposed buffalo bone, and he was making little latitude and longitude bracelets, and just some of the ideas that are coming out from his presentation. He's a young fella, 24, I think it was, and, he's now leading a team of several dozens of people. I can't remember the number, but I was very impressed with his business prowess, and, he was somebody I definitely looked to during the time. Then there on day 2, we had Alana's second presentation. Then we had Andrew Locke again, and he was talking about having an online show, how web TV is going to essentially supersede or make obsolete TV as we know it. We've all got smart TVs, smartphones, and if you don't have a smart TV, I'm sure you'll have one soon enough. And then you plug your internet cord into the back of it, and all of a sudden you've got YouTube channels, and basically this is web TV, and this is where a lot of energy and effort is going. And he explained, if you look back when Google purchased YouTube, they knew where this was going. As soon as the internet came to the fore and it established itself, it was apparent to the likes of Google that this is the place that people needed to be. And he talked a lot about, not only being educational, but being entertaining. And it really struck a chord with me, because this is what I enjoy doing. I don't mind putting my ugly head in front of you on a video. It doesn't get much better than this is it. But one thing I did take away from it is actually you don't need to be a comedian to be entertaining. You just really need to look at ways that are comfortable for you. And in his case, he's a bit comedic. He likes to show what were they thinking segments, for example, where you see funny signs. Open 7 days a week was one of the sign, closed Saturday, Sunday, just things like that. They were just little things that he puts on his show. He was an ex-BBC cameraman, so he obviously knows his stuff, and I was very impressed, and I was fortunate to have a beer with him after. So thank you, Andrew. I really enjoyed that, and digging a little bit deeper with you, and hopefully I'll speak with you again soon. And then we had the second Ryan Levesque presentation. And then after that, Tom Breeze. Now, Tom was a breath of fresh air, and it was a funny story that James shared about, giving this Tom fella that he just met at a previous conference, I think it was in San Diego, on how to present live and not to be nervous, and try this, and this, and only to find out that Tom Breeze's clientele were the likes of Frank Kern and Neil Patel and that sort of caliber. And so James, quote unquote, said after he got his foot out of his mouth, which I got a bit of a laugh out of, because you really just don't know who you're talking with. So Tom Breeze's presentation on how to use YouTube and the annotations and the end notes. And how the thing I took away from his presentation is the end cards. Well, I'm not sure they're called end cards, but the little boxes on your screen nearing the end of your video. And they had a guitar tutor, and he said, look, if you're a beginner, click this video up here. But if you're an advanced, or if you need to learn more about fret position, I'm not familiar with what these terms mean. I guess that's a place on the guitar. Click this video or this video. So that essentially has the effect of segmenting that particular interested audience into the videos that they want. Therefore, you can market to them differently, you can talk to them differently, and get the outcome that you're after, rather than trying to do one video fits all, because clearly there's lots of different challenges as a guitar player as you're learning. So that was really, really cool as well. How to build your business strong to sell it. Now, this is the last point at which I mentioned before, and that was a really good session from James. Fortunately, James, I wasn't able to come surfing with you. We had an early flight, so we didn't go out there, but the weather on the first day was pretty average. It was windy and raining, but as you promised, it would come good, and it did. And you know, just some of the sorry, I've actually overlooked one of the speakers that weren't on there. He said a short presentation is a great presentation. John Logar, how to get clients if you're just starting out. Now, with no respect to any of the other presenters, because they were great, to get the amount of value that I had out of this 15-minute presentation was just a blowaway. I tried to be present and not write too much, but I found myself scribbling down notes like a crazy man when John was speaking, because I just knew the level of authenticity, the impact, the reach, the credibility, and all these things about John. And I'd not met him, and I was just blown away. So thanks very much for that, John. I really appreciated your 15-minute discussion. That was great. So that's it for now. If you get some value out of these videos, and I hope you do, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'd love to see you there. And if you have questions, go ahead and leave them below this post, and I will speak with you again soon.